Hi everyone, and welcome back to my video series, Bringing Light to the Shadows, a little video series that I put together related to issues in my newest book, Shadow of the Steeple. My name is Shawnee Kurth. In this video, we are finishing up our interview with author AJ Flick, answering all of your questions about how to write a book, how to publish a book, everything that goes along with being a published author, getting into the true crime space, everything you might want to know about being an author we cover in this interview. This is the third and final part, so the full interview will be up after this. I had so much fun interviewing AJ. We covered so much good stuff in this interview, so you guys, I hope, are going to love it. So without further ado, here is the third and final part of my interview with AJ Flick. Kind of switching over to publishing, I think this is what I get asked about the most, because everybody, when they sit down to write a book, they're like, okay, I can write the book, I got this. But then it's like, okay, publishing.
Yeah.
Where do I go from there? So my book is self-published, so I don't really have a lot of insight on traditional publishing. So can you kind of talk a little bit about the process of like publishing a book traditionally?
Oh yeah, and we had talked previously about this because I've learned from going to all these author events, like the Tucson Festival of Books, which I was just honored to participate in as an author. And I've met many other authors, and I like to talk to them about their path and how they did it. And self-publishing for them, for other genres, is great. And but I always knew, and people had always asked me when my book hadn't been published the first time, why didn't I publish it myself? And for true crime, it's not good to be self-published because it lessens your credibility. The perception is you didn't research it well enough, you didn't write it well enough, it can't be trusted.
Yes.
And you know, for whatever reason, there's just that perception. And maybe, you know, further on in your career, when you established your credibility and you want to break away from whatever publishing house you want to, that will work. But for especially people starting out in true crime, it wasn't an issue with me. I knew I didn't want to self-publish. I wanted to have that editor's eyes after me, you know, the publisher, thinking it was the right book to publish, and publisher's editor, and not have that all on myself. But other authors I've met, they do even better on their own.
Yeah.
With traditional publishing. So with traditional publishing, which often you have to find an agent, and a lot of people don't like that process. And it's not fun.
No, it's not fun.
And the thing is, where do you find an agent? And I went to all of the workshops at the Tucson Festival of Books with agents, how to find an agent, which is where I met my agent.
That's so cool. Because
she was in a panel discussion, and she said her two genres that she likes to specialize in, what is it, youth fiction, and true crime.
And you're like, perfect.
I know. And so that's how I met her. But she actually didn't get this deal for me. She worked with me, and like I said, she gave me her advice on how to make it a better book. But it was, as I said, another author who referred me to the publisher. But she's helped me in many other ways as well, and she's helping me. I didn't really write what you would call, because the next thing, you get an agent, the agent likes what you do, the agent knows, the important part is to find an agent who works with people in your genre.
Yes.
Who has those connections. And then you do the book proposal, which is not fun.
That's not fun either.
I had to do, basically for Wild Blue Press, they have their own query online that you can fill out. And you have to outline the chapters. And some people don't outline and everything like that, but most of them. And when you actually do, what I'm doing now is putting together a full-fledged book proposal for my agent on my next book. I could go with my publisher, Wild Blue Press, again, or I think I want to try a slightly bigger publisher. It's nice having a smaller house. You have better chances of getting in and getting in without an agent.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you don't have the agent's advice on certain matters like contracts and payment and things like that. And you just have to take their word that this is what they do. And I'm not saying at all that Wild Blue did anything wrong. They didn't, but it's pretty much the standard. But the beauty of having an agent is maybe going to a bigger house.
Yeah.
Because the bigger publishing house you have, the more the services you get.
Yes.
They will, especially on the publicizing. Wild Blue was great with helping me publicize the book when it came out, got me on national podcasts, which led to more national podcasts.
Yeah.
And also other things that they can do to, social media, and they've just been terrific. But you get to a bigger publishing house. I was on.
You get even more.
Some mystery writers, and they actually have, publicists from their publisher giving them lists of people who want to interview them, and they can pick and choose. And
That's
so,
amazing.
you get more money from book sales and everything. Another advantage of having a traditional publisher is distribution. And anybody can be on Amazon and have it printed by Amazon. I'm not sure how that works, but it's there and there's nothing wrong with it. But you can't get in Barnes and Noble a lot of times when you don't have a publisher, traditional.
And it's hard to stand out on Amazon because everything's on Amazon.
Yeah. And the other thing is a publisher knows how to market you on Amazon. I had no idea about these categories
Right.
that you put your book into. And if you don't put in the right categories, you could miss out on a lot of sales. Well, my publisher, this is what they do. They specialize in true crime, and they know what categories to place my book under.
Yeah.
Right. And it's also because I went with a traditional publisher, it's also print, audio, and digital. I didn't have to do all of that.
Yeah.
myself. So, the first month that my book came out, well, it came out digital first. And it was because of the category, it was a bestseller. Then the print came out and it was a bestseller in its category. So
Awesome.
then that makes you a best-selling author. You're not a New York Times best-selling author, but it means a lot. And it means the more attention you get on Amazon, the more Amazon will promote you. You get the reviews, the magic 50 reviews.
Absolutely.
Good or bad. Even the bad ones count for
They do. There's still reviews.
And so it's just, and that whole half of that world, when you have a publisher who's doing a lot of that, you don't have to do that. And there's probably 10 things I don't even know that they did that really helped me right off the bat. But then you do a lot on your own, and I like doing it. I like publicizing my book, and I love opportunities like this because it helps me publicize my book.
Absolutely.
And hopefully helps people too.
Mm-hmm.
But you get, like I said, you get a bigger house, then they do more for you. And then, maybe, hopefully, I get to the point where I'm with a publisher and something becomes a New York Times bestseller. That's the dream.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate goal for sure.
Yeah.
So would you say, I know you were talking about how you met your agent at a festival. I know there's a lot of ways to find agents online now.
Oh, yeah.
Do you still think that it's more beneficial to connect with people in person versus online?
I do. And hopefully we will get back into in-person.
I know eventually.
because I think you can, it is that personal touch, and they see, and most of the people who do this kind of thing, they're open to meeting authors and helping authors. And they're not just sitting in their office in Chicago, just kind of with a stack of queries on their desk. They're, the junior editor has gone through before, it even gets to.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think any opportunity you have, and even if it's a Zoom, and to ask that question, to get that foot in the door, and to meet them and say, I really would like to, send you something or what. And I think that is the best opportunity you can get. And that's why I did it. I thought not just meeting other authors as well, because if you meet another author of the genre that you want to be published in, ask them questions, meet them, connect with them. Look, as I said, I met through all these networking other true crime authors who have all helped me in some way or other.
Yeah.
With advice, or sometimes it was don't do that, or you should have done that. Okay, live and learn. On the next one, I'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do it better next time.
Yeah, and that's the way it goes, and
Yeah.
that's the way you learn to grow and everything. And yeah, anytime you can do anything in person like that, take a workshop, see them at a lecture, and then even if you don't get to meet them, go to their website and send them an email and say how much you enjoyed and what you took away from that, and and everything. Introduce yourself to as many people as you can.
Absolutely.
To get that on your way, and even if they aren't right for you, a lot of times they know someone.
Yeah.
It might.
They can refer you. Yeah.
Exactly. They say, this is really my type. I heard that so many times at the Festival of Books, where they said, I can't help you. And it was said to me, and I heard it to other people, I can't help you, but I can refer you to so-and-so. And maybe it panned out and maybe it didn't, but you got to try. And
yeah, absolutely.
That's how you get ahead. People are not going to knock on your door if you don't go outside your own universe, whether it's online or literally physically.
Yeah.
It might happen again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the biggest piece of advice I've gotten is like, people are not just going to magically buy your book. Like you have to like talk to people and network and build those connections.
Yeah. And you never know. It's just like, I still, and my friends get a kick out of it. I go to bookstores because I learned this a long time ago from an author friend. If you go to a bookstore and you sign your book, they can't send it back if it doesn't sell. And usually bookstores like authors to sign their books. They could slap that little sticker on it, and it often will sell even before, another book that isn't signed.
Right, because it's like an exclusive. Yeah.
And I always take a picture of it, or take a picture of it with the sign with the book. I do these little, friend of mine had a word for it. I can't remember what it is. And I'll post it online. And when that book sells, the bookstore remembers you.
Yeah.
And I did that in Phoenix at several bookstores. And then they bought more of my book. And then they would put it on top of the shelf, face out on the shelf with the cover on the shelf, showing. So, so anything you do like that, maybe it's just one book at a time, but it starts adding up.
Definitely, for sure. So I know you've kind of hinted at some other things that you have in the works. What does the future look like for you? What other kind of stuff do you have coming?
Well, the pandemic has really put a crimp in things in my life. I had a day job. I was a journalist for years and years. Went off on my own. I've done a bunch of different writing. In the last few years, I've had my day job, and then I've done some freelancing on the side. I lost my day job last year.
Okay.
And so, but I started doing more freelancing. I've done articles for Tucson Lifestyle. Wow, they give me these great assignments that, that just are right up my alley. I'm working on hate crime right now.
Okay.
And anything I can do, blogs, I've been writing blogs. I've tinkered with the idea of doing a podcast. And just today I accepted I have a day job again. Yay!
Yay!
So it's nice when you're a writer, as they say, nobody goes into writing to make a lot of money.
True.
Few writers make a lot of money, but the rest of us need day jobs.
Yes.
And side jobs.
Yeah.
So it was really, really hard during the pandemic to keep that writer artist in me alive. And
absolutely.
sometimes she just died. She just said, I'm going to bed. You can stay long. And I'm like, but I have this deadline.
Yeah, I have to write. Come on.
And it's been really hard, but the end is in sight. Now at least I'll have a steady paycheck, and I'm still working on my book proposal, working on freelance articles, any kind of opportunity that gets me out there as a writer. I'd like to stick to what I like to do, the magazine writing and everything. My job is actually as an editor.
Okay.
And I'll be doing writing for the company, not true crime, of course.
Right.
But, so I love to write anyway, and it's kind of writing I like to do and get paid for.
Yeah, right.
And I told them, I said, is it any matter to you what I do in my own time? If want to put out another book or write an article, and they're like, we don't care what you do on your off time.
Oh, awesome.
Just get your job done here. So that's where my life is right now, to try to get out of the pandemic with any kind of sanity.
Oh, yeah.
And my own little inner writing muse, and be able to get back to that, unfortunately a lot of times during a pandemic, it hasn't been good for publishing. Publishers aren't taking manuscripts, not from people like me. I have several author friends who are a lot more, they're high profile than I am, and they got book deals, but a lot of people on my level, no.
It's been
tough. It hasn't been a huge priority of mine to work on the book proposal. I was like, let me get a job first.
Yeah, I need to make some money.
So now I have a job lined up, and going to go back and connect with my agent again and say, okay, we've got this, and this. What else do we need? Because I know that those publishers are going to be hungry for scripts again. Because,
oh yeah,
scripts of all, or manuscripts of all kind, but especially true crime has not faded away.
Not at all.
And nobody has done this story about, and I don't want to tease too much, because I don't like to jinx myself. I don't want to say what the story is. But my agent is excited about it. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to check it out. I can't wait.
Yeah. Thank
For
you.
sure. So where can people find your book that you have out now?
My book is called Toxic Rage, A Tale of Murder in Tucson. And that's the old cover, by the way.
Oh, wow.
It now has a red cover, and I looked all around. I think I sold all my red covers, and I haven't bought any to sell. But we changed the cover. My agent didn't like the cover, and we found a friend of mine, graphic artist, with this gorgeous red cover. So it has a red cover now.
It looks great, yeah.
And it's you can order it anywhere in the U.S. through Barnes and Noble. It's in the Barnes and Nobles who aren't in Arizona, it's print on demand, so you might have to order it.
Okay.
Amazon is print, digital, and audio. And in Tucson, the independent bookstores, Antigone and Mostly Books, have it. The Barnes and Noble at Foothills Mall always has it. They're lovely people. And a few Barnes and Nobles up in Phoenix, every once in a while they'll sell some copies. So, but if you're not in Tucson, a lot of times it's just easier to go to Amazon.
Okay.
Boycotting Amazon, you can go through Barnes and Noble.
Awesome. Sounds great. All right. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. This is so much fun.
I hope I haven't rambled too much.
No, it was so exciting.
Yes.
All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that interview. Don't forget to check out AJ Flick on all of her socials, as well as pick up her book on Amazon. Also, don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook at Shawnee Kurth Author, or just search up Books by Shawnee. You can also find me on Instagram, just my name, at Shawnee Kurth. Follow me, check me out. We have so many more exciting videos coming and so many interviews lined up that I think you guys are going to love, covering some really important topics related to Shadow of the Steeple. So follow me on all of my socials, subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss out on any of those interviews. And also check out Shadow of the Steeple on Amazon. give that a read before you watch these interviews and get as much insight on these topics as you can. So thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you guys next time.